Heyo, Bolt here, and welcome to a different type of video. You see, I'm someone who enjoys both Persona 5 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Heck, Smash is how I first learned who Joker was. And I'd say Joker was pretty well represented in Smash. Well, aside from one aspect. The music. Persona is well known for its catchy and overall amazing music, and Smash did some pretty good stuff with it. It chose some iconic songs, and it gave us one of the best remixes in the game. But much like Kingdom Hearts, it did feel a slight bit lacking in areas, specifically how little some games got than others, and some really weird song inclusions. So today, I'm going to be going over what I'd change and keep the same about the music in this selection. It also gives me proper time to actually talk about the music and why I like it, because hey, when else am I going to get this opportunity? Only rule is that I can't take anything from Strikers or Royal, since they weren't even close to being released by the time Joker was added. However, I am going to allow Q2 if I so inclined, since it was already out at the time, and I could see a scenario where they'd want to use Smash to promote the game. I also want to say I'm not the most musically literate person, so the story of my descriptors seem a bit basic. Now without further ado, let's burn through this! Okay, let's start with the main cuts I'm making. Wake Up, Get Out There, and Our Beginning. For the record, I really like both of these songs for different reasons, but I felt they wouldn't be a good fit here. I'll expand on Wake Up later, but for Our Beginning, I just don't think it fits Smash, like, at all. It's a great triumphant piece to play when you finally get the upper hand in the end in the final boss, but in a fighting game, it's completely out of place. Honestly, they probably should have just gone with the final boss music, but then that'd just be a straight up spoiler because of the track name. Though, then again, given their treatment of Xenoblade, I don't think they really care that much. So I figured I'd personally scrap it for now. Now, onto the songs I'm including.
You'll never see it come back.
I'm not going to spend too much time on this, because I think it's pretty obvious why it's here. It's the main battle theme of the game, it's absolutely iconic, and in spite of its more low-key tone compared to the other game's battle themes, it still fits Smash pretty well, and it would be a crime to keep it out. If I were choosing songs from later games, I'd absolutely love to put the Strikers remix in, as it goes hard, but the original is still a good choice to go with.
Where have you been?
Oh, you knew I wasn't getting rid of this one. This is probably the best song on the entire original selection for the series. It keeps a lot of what made the original Beneath the Mask great, like the vocals and more low-key personal feeling of the lyrics, while making it an absolute bop for a fighting game. There honestly isn't much more to say about this song. It's the perfect remix for this game to have.
It's not a game. I'm not a...
Part of me wanted to actually keep Wake Up, Get Out There, but when I thought back on songs to include, I realized that this song was not in the original selection, and that's an absolute crime. And since Wake Up, Get Out There is pretty similar to it, I figured it'd be most appropriate to replace. This song is another one of the most iconic songs from the original game, thanks to its great instrumentals, catchy lyrics, and its placement in the game giving itself a very triumphant feeling. And unlike something like Our Beginning, the faster pacing actually makes it more fitting for a fighting game like Smash. I'd say it fits in just as much as Wake Up, Get Out There, and honestly, if you want to include both in the OST, I 100% get it. I just feel like this song would fit more if I had to pick between the two personally. By the way, having to say Wake Up, Get Out There like 3 times in the recording kind of got to me. I just called it Wake Up in the script. I didn't need to do it, but like, okay, guess it's what my autistic brain decided to do. This is probably the most glaring omission from the original selection, because it's a pretty important and iconic song in the game, being its main boss theme. And it's not like it doesn't fit, it's a faster paced rock song, and even if it is slower than another boss theme I'm putting on here later, that's nothing new for Smash. And going back to Strikers, God, if there's any one scene from that game I would include here, it is most certainly this song's remix, because they just amped up the rock to a whole new level. You can tell they were wearing the Muso influences on their sleeve. But yeah. Overall, the fact that this theme wasn't in the original is so weird to me, and I think it'd be a worthy addition to the game. Oh, there was no way in hell I was scrapping this song. Not only is the title not a spoiler, but it's also debatably the best song in the entire original game in my opinion. Like, genuinely, its placement, the tense instrumental, the god-tier lyric, it's genuinely one of the best battle themes I've ever heard, let alone in the entire series. It's a perfect song for Smash Bros. There's nothing more for me to say here, just a worthy addition that the devs knew was worth having. Now here's where we get a bit more creative, as I'm sure there are some of you who didn't even expect this one. Since Q2 was already released in Japan, I figured some cross-promotion would be pretty cool, especially as it gives me an excuse to at least get one song from what I consider the best OST in the series, Fight Me. Anyways, the reason I went with this song specifically is not only because this is the Phantom Thieves battle theme in the game, but also because, another hot take here, this is the single best standard battle theme Persona 5's ever had. The general fast pace, the great vocals, and the actually really inspiring lyrics just generally make it a bop to listen to. And of all the songs on here, this is probably the song I wanted on here the most. Well, aside from another one, but we'll get to that. And that covers the Persona 5 songs. But don't think we're done here, because we still have other games to go through. Wait, why am I Chie?
I don't know. I don't think it's a me glitch. I'll go look more into it.
Okay then, Frig, good luck with that. Anyways, while Persona 5 obviously has more songs, I want to give Persona 3 and 4 equal songs to work with, so around 4 a pop. So let's start with our first. Oh, this is probably going to be contentious. Obviously, I was going to have this song here no matter what. Reach Out to the Truth is basically the Persona 4 theme. It's iconic, it fits in well, it's fast-paced, and it was already in the original Smash selection, but then I realized, the actual Persona fighting game basically doesn't have anything, so I figured, why not go with this version? It keeps basically everything good about the original and makes it a more rockin' and fitting tune for a fighting game. You know, since it was originally made for one. I could go between this, the original, or even the full mix made for Dancing All Night, but the thematic purposes of this version coming from a fighting game, I figured it would be the best match to go with. Oh yeah, here's another keeper, being the battle theme made for Persona 4 Golden, as well as my personal favorite of the two. It's high energy, it's iconic, it's a great battle theme, and there's no wonder it was used in Smash. But the fact that the full mix of it from Dancing All Night wasn't used is a crime. The second half of the song just serves to make the song feel more complete, and there's no real reason to have it not be here. So changing it to this version basically changes nothing about the original, and only serves to add. Win-win and all around. Okay, time to get my final complaint about the original selection out of the way. The Smash remix of I'll Face Myself. On its own, it's not bad. It's actually pretty nice. But having this remix ended up sacrificing the possibility of having the original or reincarnation version here. A sin so great I had no other choice but to remove it. Because the original I'll Face Myself is too good not to have in a fighting game. Its tense nature and how hard those guitars go. God! Shoji Meguro really did not hold back. It's a great boss theme no matter how you slice it. And as for if I'd choose the original version or the reincarnation version used in Golden, I could go either or. Both are really good for their own reason. The original is a lot more hard rock, reincarnation adds a bit more piano and strings to the mix, but still keeps the rock. So I can't really pick one over the other. Both are amazing and both are better than this remix. If you've been on my channel, you knew I'd pick this song. Being my favorite standard battle theme in the series, thanks to the combination of Lotus Juice's amazing flow, the rock and pop instrumentals on both sides, and Yumi Kawamura and Shihoko Hirata's great choruses, the song is just a bop and would 100% fit in Smash. But personal bias aside, I think it also worked here since Persona Q was the first Persona game to be on a Nintendo console. So I feel like it'd be a nice callback to have it here, as a sort of memento to before people started complaining about Persona 5 being on Switch. As for which version, both of them! Not separately, but merged into one. Similarly to how Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight did the original versions. It saved music slots and make it so both could change in the game. One more idea I had for this song specifically is that mementos could change when the song version switches, but I have no idea how hard that'd be to program, so you could just keep the Persona 4 theme if needed. Either way, just let me listen to my favorite standard battle theme in Smash, please.
I thought I told you to sit down and get down. I'm about to hit ground when I'm in the boss.
And to complete the trilogy of main battle themes, we have Mass Destruction, another iconic song in its own right that got in Smash, even if one tiny line got censored. This is likely where many people first saw Lotus Juice's amazing sense of flow, which gives it a place in many people's hearts. However, we can still make its inclusion in Smash better, mainly by adding its other half from FES. Much like Time to Make History, the dancing games managed to combine these two versions, and they flow amazingly with each other. so there's really nothing to lose in combining them. Well, nothing more than we lost when the original song got put in Smash. Damn right.
Hell nah, no man can run away.
Might as well get portable some love here too, especially since that's now the version you can play on Switch. In making this handheld version of the game, they decided to make a female playable character and give her new music, with pretty much all of them being absolute fire, but the standout here is their main battle theme. Replacing Mass Destruction in her route is Wiping All Out, which is a lot more bombastic, but still keeps Lotus Juice and his amazing flow, and still gets across that your ass is grass if you cross Femsi's path. Wow, I did not intend for that to rhyme. This song 100% deserves to be in Smash and would fit perfectly. And while we're at it, let's give Femsi a Mii costume. Only fair. Oh yeah, can we add some for Naoya and Tatsuya as well? Since we gave Portable some love, let's give more love to FES as well. And by extension, Persona 4 Arena again. Ayo! Heartful Cry is another one of the best boss themes in the series, being both sorrowful while still going very hard in the rock, which Persona 4 Arena only makes better with its remix of it. It's a very hard balancing act to make those two sides work, but both versions of the song are able to mix the two perfectly in the end. I feel like this would be similar to the remixes of Lost in Thoughts All Alone or Midna's Lament, but without the heavy work needed since Arena already did that. Seriously, if you haven't listened to Ultimax's soundtrack yet, please do, it's amazing. Yeah, you knew we weren't removing this. Being what's probably the best final boss theme in the series, this is seriously some of Shoji Meguro's best work in the entire franchise, and I wouldn't change one thing about its inclusion in Smash. The guitars, the aria of the soul motif it has, the tension. This is just a genuinely masterful song, and probably one of the best picks the Smash team went with when making the original selection. Don't think we're done yet, because we still have 4 more songs to go with. With these, Mementos would take a purple color scheme when these songs play, as they come from the first 3 Persona games. If you've played Smash, you can tell what the first one's gonna be. This song needs nothing changed about it. Mitsuhiro Kitadani did an amazing job rearranging the song, giving it more of a Persona 5 vibe that fits perfectly for Smash Bros. It even has bits of Wake Up Get Up Get Out there, which makes me regret removing this song even less. It's bombastic while still keeping the soul of what made the original song great. And that breather we get after the chorus, just an absolutely fantastic remix. Oh, this is gonna cause a bit of a stir. Persona 1 was released in 2 versions. The original was for the PS1 and was translated as Revelations Persona, or Revisionism Persona as I call it. Then it was later remade more faithfully on the PSP as Shin Megami Tensei Persona. The most contentious difference between the two is the OSTs, which is probably gonna make people hate my choice for this song even more. On its own, I would have preferred to go with the original battle theme, as it was a great theme in its own right, but I ultimately felt the PSP version deserved some representation. And Lone Prayer is arguably the most well-known song from that version of the game, if it isn't School Days. It still fits Smash a decent bit, but you might be wondering why I'm using a cover by the wonderful Guild Studio as the background music. That's because I realized when choosing the OG I'll Face Myself, I got rid of one of those remixes, so I figured that I'd replace it with another song. So why not rearrange this song? Maybe make its instruments fit a lot more with the vibe of the PS1 version. You could realistically go in any direction with it, but I think a remix would do a good job in making it more fitting for Smash. And don't worry PS1 OST fans, I'm still including something from here later. The Persona 2 duology were arguably the hardest games to think of songs for, since those are the games I generally have the least familiarity with. But from what I've heard of Innocent Sin's OST, I think the standard boss theme would be a pretty good fit here. It's a great fast-paced rock song with bits of ambience to it. It's a pretty good song in its own right, and I think it's generally the best choice for the OST. If not this song, probably the main battle theme. I don't really have much more to say about it here, so let's move on to Eternal Punishment. And now is arguably even harder to think of something for, as I'm not super into a lot of the music I've heard for the game. But then my mind remembered something that could let me kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm sure some of you didn't even know this remix existed. This is The Brink of Death, or as it's more commonly known in its original appearance in Persona 1, Deadline. The original version is already amazing, thanks to the great PS1 guitar solo and the dynamic music system of the original Persona 1, making it a lot more impactful by starting out with a slow choir before you press the fight button. But Eternal Punishment PSP only serves to make it even better, thanks to the better synths and absolutely amazing guitar solo in the middle of it. Genuinely up there with I'll Face Myself as one of the best boss themes in all of Persona, and 100% deserving to be in Smash. And with that, it's all done. So what do you think of my choices? Would you expand this list? Make different replacements? Anything else about Joker's inclusion in Smash you'd change? Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below. This has been the Firebolt, and it seems I'm back to Joker.
I think this kind of thing will only happen in non-commentary videos, so be aware of that.
Noted.
By the way, I think I'm getting a reading on a new material maze. I don't think I'm getting close to it yet, but the signs are there.
Okay, well, hopefully that goes well for you.